Shalby is the stock on our radar. Shanay Shah, the director at Shalby, joins us now to talk about the performance of their business as well as their expansion plans. If you look at FY22, it was the highest ever revenues and profits for the company. They have 11 hospitals, as we know, 1,200 operational beds. Shanay, thanks a lot for joining us on the show. If you can just start by, talking a little bit about what your plans are for FY23. As I just mentioned, you saw very good performance in FY22, but what are the growth triggers and what would the, ballpark range look like for you in terms of growth?
Yeah, good morning, Sonia. Thank you for having me. Yes, it was a record quarter. Record quarter and record year for us. We've done more than 700 crores of sales in this year and about 130 plus crores of EBITDA, which is more than 50% growth compared to the previous fiscal year. Now, I think the way I would like to talk about FY23 would be twofold. Of course, one is the hospital business, and we have guided that we will be doing 20% growth on the current numbers. So we did about 650 crores in FY22. So, there'll be a 20% growth on that, and of course, there'll be a margin expansion. So, we are looking at a EBITDA margin growth of a higher percentage than that. To do with the implant business, that is again something we are very optimistic about because, we did about $4 million of sales in FY22, and we are projecting upwards of $16 million of sales in this fiscal year from that business, and that will also generate a positive single-digit kind of EBITDA margin, which will again be a record in the implant business industry because it's not even been a year since we've acquired the company, and we are going to be turning it around over the next 6 months or so.
Okay, so that was actually one of the key points that I wanted to ask you, Shanay, was basically when exactly do you expect to be EBITDA positive on your implant business? But you did mention that it'll probably be in FY23 and you're targeting revenues of 16 million versus around 4 million that you did in FY22. But just wanted to touch upon your CapEx plans because interestingly, you're looking to expand quite aggressively through the franchise model. Either you'll operate it or maybe the franchisee will operate the hospital. Do you think that there's a risk to quality when that takes place? And what is your sense in terms of maintaining the quality, especially when it is franchise operated?
Absolutely, I'll answer that question. And since you mentioned about the implant business, I will tell you that we did sell about 1,600 implants in the US in this year. And the incremental, there's going to be additional $3,500 implants that will be sold in this year in the US itself. So we are looking upwards of 5,000 to 6,000 implants in the US in this year, which will be a big achievement for us. To do with the franchisee business, again, we are very bullish. It's not even been a year since we launched this initiative. And as you correctly mentioned, there are two ways in which we want to do it. One is the franchisee-owned, franchisee-operated, as well as the franchisee-owned, Shalby-operated. So basically, we already have two franchisees operational. One is in Udaipur, as we talk right now, which is the franchisee-owned, franchisee-operated model. And there's one in Ahmedabad, which is the franchisee-owned, Shalby-operated model. These two units have been operational for over 6 months now, and we are seeing a lot of positive numbers in terms of the way the kind of response we are getting in those particular towns. I'm happy to share that in this quarter, which is quarter 4 of FY22, we have signed 3 additional franchisee agreements, one being in Kanpur, the other one in Gwalior, and the third one in Rajkot. So again, these are tier 2, tier 3 towns, and we are very, very optimistic that we will be able to gain a lot of drainage, across these hospitals. Because what has also happened is, that because of COVID, patients now have this kind of inertia to travel for elective surgery. If you're getting the best kind of care in your own city, then they do not want to travel for surgery. So we are very bullish, and we do get a lot of patients from these particular towns. So we are very hopeful that as and when these get launched, we will be able to see a lot.
Yeah, we're short on time, so we're just going to hurry up with a couple of more questions and request you to keep your answers a little brief as well. Just a quick last question before I hand it over to Sonal. A lot of the hospital companies are now diversifying into different categories. you're already diversifying into implant manufacturing, but it is more related to hospital businesses, say the diagnostics, home care, even digital, any such plans?
So, for example, we already do home care in a very big way. So the three next big pillars for us in Shalby, apart from the hospitals business, which is of course the mainstay, is the implant business, where we are very bullish and a lot of capital is being invested in that business. The second being the franchisee model, which is more of an asset-light model, because that is the direction in which the company wants to move going forward. And the third is, the home care business, where, we are currently present only in the towns where we run our hospitals, but again, that is already contributing very meaningfully to our business, and we will also kind of build in technology. Now we are working on technology where we can reach out to more people within these towns to provide more home care services to the patients of the towns where we run the hospitals.
Shanay, last question before we let you go. What is your take on the international medical tourism picking up? Has that come back to pre-COVID levels? How much is it a percentage of your total revenues?
Oh, absolutely. So, we are already seeing that almost 70 to 80% of that business is back. In the next few months to come, we will be seeing a further influx. Quarter 4 was about 80%. The reason being that in the month of January, because of Omicron, a lot of patients could not travel for the first 5 to 6 weeks of the quarter. But having said that, in this fiscal year, we are more likely to see a 40 to 50% kind of growth compared to the FY20 pre-COVID levels of international patients in Shalby.
Okay, Shanay, we'll leave it at that. Thanks a lot for joining us and all the best for your business. Let's slip into a quick break on that note.